Okay, thank you. Since the July meeting, Commissioner, you said that the decision to stand down the public order unit at 7 a.m. was a mistake or was regrettable. I can't remember the exact word that you used. You didn't say that at the July meeting to us, and I'm just wondering, what has led you to that conclusion now?
I don't think I was defending either the position of finishing the public order unit at 7 a.m. Our response colleagues on the Corps were left in a very difficult position between probably about 10 a.m. up to 1 p.m. So it was a very difficult 3 hours for them to contain that, and I think I said at the last meeting that was very far from perfect in terms of our ability to respond to the evolving situation. But that public order unit had been on throughout the night. They had been on night duty. 7 a.m. would have been their normal finishing time, and a decision was taken to allow them to finish at that. In hindsight, and a lot of things are very clear in hindsight, that wasn't the correct decision, given what then subsequently developed at the Crown Paint site throughout the morning.
And just on, and you're absolutely right to say that you didn't strongly defend the decision to stand down the unit on the last occasion, and you did say that there was learning, I think, that had to be taken from that. But it's pretty clear, I think, from round about 8 o'clock and certainly from 10 o'clock that the situation was rapidly deteriorating. Is that 3-hour gap appropriate, or are you? I know that you had told us that people were deployed to Coolock Garda Station at noon, but they weren't actually deployed to the scene until 1. In light of the, not just in light of the primetime programme, but in light of some of the events that we've seen in the primetime programme, should the public order unit not have been deployed more quickly?
Well, if I might turn to Michelle, because there was a series of operational decisions being made in terms of responding to what was happening actually on the ground. There was an inspector who was in charge and who was in communication back with Coolock, and as I said previously, public order units were arriving at Coolock and were mustering then in terms of their initial response. So Michelle, can you add just the decision making in the morning?
Good afternoon. The first call that was received was at 8:10 from the security site to say that there were protesters outside, that they weren't threatening, but that they were shouting and roaring, and that call was first responded to by the local unit at 8:20. There were a series of calls over the course of the next hour, and additional units were dispatched. At 10:22, the priority call to control was escalated to emergency, and at that point 6 units were dispatched, including armed support units and the special detective unit. The patrol officer was made aware, and the patrol officer then went to the scene. But by 10 to 11 there were 24 units dispatched. Public order units were starting to scramble at that point. The traffic diversion had been put in place at both ends of the Malahide Road at that point. So as far as I'm concerned, there was a Garda response, and it was escalated throughout the morning until such time as the public order unit were scrambled and came to see. But they were scrambling when I arrived to Coolock Garda Station at 10 to 12.